Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rangers Radio, the world's unique platform, broadcasting from Australia to Austria, from China to Carolina in the morning. On the panel tonight, we've got Bridgeman, we've got Fox, and we've got Ulster Bear. So, the club has made a statement about Big Laugh. Aberdeen's faces hopefully should be as red as their shirts over the ticket fiasco. But getting back to Big Laugher to Bridgeman, you've got a statement there, I believe.
I have indeed, Bicken. First of all, can I just say a big good evening to yourself and the rest of the boys on the panel. And a big good evening to the guys in the lobby, and a huge good evening to all the Rangers fans all over the world listening in here. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Club statement on Lafferty. Rangers can confirm that Kyle Lafferty will not be available for the match against Hamilton on Sunday, after the Irish FA invoked FIFA's 5-day rule clause. Talks have now been held among all parties, and Rangers understands the position of the Irish FA. Kyle did not fully comply with international protocol, but remains available for international selection. End of statement.
There you go, guys. What do you think of that, Fox?
Short and sweet, mate. Short and sweet. I think the club statement is correct. It was all down to Big Kyle. He's made an arse of it, and that's what it's all about, mate. I think Kyle wants to think a wee bit back, mate. See, when he was doing it at Birmingham, etc., and when I think he went abroad as well, Northern Ireland kept him up to speed, mate, playing him in the games. They rewarded him well by scoring goals for them, but Kyle was going through a bad time there and wasn't getting much football. They stood by him, and he repaid them, got him his move to Hearts, and then eventually on to odds. So I think Kyle's been out of order with him myself, mate.
Aye, fair enough, Fox. Bridge?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the whole thing... Unfortunately, Rangers have been getting some blame, as we know, in different sources. And obviously, I would hope that these people who have been blaming Rangers will now come out tomorrow and say, no, it was Kyle Lafferty's fault. It was nothing to do with Rangers. Because it's ludicrous to come away and say that it's Rangers' fault. And Rangers did absolutely... said this last night. Rangers, nothing to do with it. Totally, the big man, shall we say, he's to blame. Rangers were the victim, or are the victim in all this. They've lost a player. Whether, in fact, he's fit enough to play against Hamilton, or indeed, secondly, whether it would be selected, is a different thing entirely. The fact is, they've put a ban on him by, shall we say, that international ban, and it still is. That's fine. The statement's short and sweet. Personally speaking, I'd rather Rangers didn't say anything. That was my honest opinion. But what they've said suffice. I'm very happy.
Fair enough. We've been joined by Rudy Bear. Good evening, Rudy.
Rudy.
Good evening, Bridge.
Hi, Rudy.
Aye, also. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad.
Did you hear the statement there, mate?
Aye, I did. It was short, sharp, and to the point, wasn't it? We said it last night, and I think we touched on it last week as well, True. Big Kyle messed up. That's all you can say about it. He's messed up. He's got his knuckles wrapped. He's not playing on Sunday, and he's only got himself to blame,
Aye, well, Ulster?
I think sort of the words Foxy uses, he made a bit of an arse of it. I think that's fair. I think Foxy sort of says everything that I'd agree with there when he says about the Northern Ireland looking after him, especially when he was in Norwich there for a long time, couldn't get a game. But Northern Ireland kept playing him. Michael O'Neill had the faith in him, and obviously Lafferty then could showcase his talents, and obviously got himself a move in the Hearts, and everything has went well for him. I just think he's went about it all wrong, I think basically the way I'm hearing is after the Hearts game at Ibrox, I know he had a couple of minutes, and obviously Rangers should give the go-ahead. Sorry, did I break up there?
No, you're okay.
All right. I think Northern Ireland Rangers had given the all clear to Northern Ireland, basically saying the player was fit to play. And since then, I think Lafferty obviously phoned Michael O'Neill about midnight anyway, or close to it, and said that he was unavailable. And I think probably he's done the wrong thing. I am still disappointed with Northern Ireland invoking this rule, though, because it's harming Rangers. I think if they were going to maybe punish Lafferty and say to him the next big game or whatever, you won't be selected, punish him that sort of way. That would have been maybe a fair thing to do. But it's just sad that Rangers are the ones that are going to get punished for it. Obviously, I know Lafferty as well. But that's just my feelings on it, Hopefully they can resolve it anyway, because he's very important for Northern Ireland. We don't have the greatest.
Can I ask you a question, Ulster? You said there it was after the Rangers game, which was a Sunday game, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when were Northern Ireland due to play?
He would have been getting on a plane Monday.
But when were they going to play? What day were they going to play?
The first game was Austria away. We're away first of all in Austria and Vienna. I think that was during the week there, right. And then obviously So
there was a few days before that anyway. He had a few days to go.
He had a few days. He had met up with the team and they worked the squad out and who was playing where, But he had a bit of big because we need, the big man. I know at Rangers he's second string striker, but for us in Northern Ireland, he's the talisman. He's the man who gets you the goals. And we see, and they have. I think what's probably annoying Michael O'Neill as much and the IFA is the fact that he's that pivotal and important to us. We had our strikers were pretty poor, to be honest, without him. We missed some glorious chances that Big Lafferty would have took, in my opinion, and most people's opinion over here, if he had been on the team. And a lot of people are a wee bit annoyed that he's done it in the way that he's done it. But we know Big Lafferty has history. He's not the brightest tool. You know what I mean? He's sometimes, if we're being honest, he's a big leg. He gets on, sometimes does stupid decisions and he regrets them very quickly. And I think this is probably one that he look back on, and think he's made a wee bit of a boo. But we just hopefully everybody can move on.
Honestly, Ulster, I think he's probably let both teams down. He's let the Northern Ireland side down, and he's also let Rangers down as well. With the way he's gone about this. And I see a lot on Facebook, out social media today. There's a lot of bears, defending him, and you can't really defend him, because he's brought all this on himself. It was just daft, really. It could have been handled so much better. And in the process, as I say, he's let both sides down. He's not let the Northern Irish side down, and and he's let Rangers down because he's no longer available. So we're going with one forward now on Sunday against Hamilton, and touch wood, we don't get any mishaps with wee Alfredo, But so he's got nobody to blame but himself, in my opinion. He could have handled this way much better.
Yeah.
The problem. Sorry, go ahead, Ulster.
No, just to finish it off, really, I agree with Rudy there. I think it'll be interesting to see. Well, wait and see what Stephen Gerrard. Maybe Stevie Gerrard. I'll just say, look, it's done. Statements been put out. Everybody knows the position. We move on, or will he sit and have we discussion about it? I think Gerrard will be a wee bit peed out of himself probably because I know he would have run through a brick wall for England, when he was asked to play. So I think he'd be a wee bit disappointed too. But we'll wait and see.
Well, for me, the concern I've got is, the club's turned around and made a statement he was fit at the time, and they wanted him in. Is they taking this decision off his own back without consultation for the club? If he has, if I was Stephen Gerrard, I would be less than pleased. Less than pleased.
Well, I said that last night, Drew. I don't think Jimmy agreed with me. But I said last night, had this have been something that he's just decided on his own after the club coming out and saying, to Michael O'Neill, player's fit to play, and went ahead and done this all on his own, I'd have given him a bollocking. I'd have got him behind closed doors and I'd have said to him, don't make us look like that again. Don't care what you feel about the club or what you feel about your country. We employ you. If we say you're fit, you're fit. It's as simple as that. And he could have, and I've already said it myriad times now, he could have gone there, they could have had a look at him, he could have explained the situation, and maybe they would have decided, they would have said, right, okay, no problem, we'll leave you out for the next couple of games. If you're carrying a wee niggly injury that you're trying to work your way through, possibly that would have been a better way to deal with it than just phoning up at midnight, and saying to Michael O'Neill, I'm not coming. You know what I mean? So I think he deserves a bollocking. If he's got one behind closed doors, then he probably deserves it, in my opinion.
It is typical Big Lafferty, though, isn't it? Only him would get himself in this, and I'm laughing, but only him would get himself in this predicament. And I can picture him now, sitting there, being as he is and thinking, oh, you know what, maybe just ring up here and just, at the middle of the night, and everything will be okay, and it's typical him.
Yeah.
But I can understand this situation, though, but sorry, but just quickly, I can understand, like, in his mind, he's thinking, right, big things are happening at Rangers. These games are pretty pointless. They're not, I know this new, they're trying a new whole thing. Not many people was really interested in. He maybe felt the wee twinge, and he's thinking, I don't want to get injured. I want to be in the plans. This is my second chance at Rangers, and I really, really want to be here these 2 weeks and learn the thing and try and get myself involved more in the team. I can understand all that, but I think the way he's went about it's been wrong, and that's why he's paying the consequences.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ulster.
Can I just say, look, the thing that bothers me greatly, there's 2 stages to this. The thing that bothers me greatly is that my club, our club, have now got their name sullied at FIFA level. So a new FIFA 5-day ruling has been placed on our club so that we cannot play a player. And I'll bet you like our club were in complete ignorance of that. I think the Football Association of Ireland there, FIA, should have spoken to Rangers before they did it and invoked that rule. They really should have. This has got absolutely nothing to do with Rangers in a sense. They didn't even know anything about it in all probability. However, they have spoken to them now, which I'm very glad, and it's all resolved. So, to all intents and purposes, after we've discussed it, it should be all forgotten about. But you know what it's like. Somewhere along the line, some idiot's going to bring out something and they're going to say something that Big Laugh didn't care, or worse to that effect, and start slurring Lafferty. Obviously, we don't want to hear anything like that. But I really do. That's the thing that upsets me, that our name is against a FIFA 5-day ruling, and we shouldn't even be anywhere near that. That is just not right. And that's the way I feel about it.
That bridge, man, is where the bollocking comes in, if that's what he deserves behind closed doors after Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
He's brought the club into disrepute, because of the 5-day thing. Then, as I said, he's brought it on himself. I mean, Rangers came out and said, look, he's fit, player's fit to go. He's all right, he's fine, And then the next thing, Big Kyle's on the phone. So if he's done that off his own back, then obviously Steven Gerrard's going to have a word with him behind closed doors. Or the club would have something to say to him behind closed doors, you know what I mean? So that's where the bollocking comes in for me. And I said it last night, if I was Steven Gerrard and I knew nothing about this up until it came out, I would get a hold of him behind closed doors and he'd get it off of me, so he would.
It's just. Sorry, I do apologise. It's just the way it's happened. That's all. I'm not going to slag Kyle Lafferty. If he's made a mistake and he tried it on, it didn't work out, then that's fine. Only thing I'm concerned about is the Football Association in Ireland there should have contacted Rangers Football Club and spoke about it beforehand, so that every party knew it was happening. If Rangers had objected to what they had to say about Lafferty and then they invoked that 5-day clause, then that's fine as well. Let them do what they need to do. But I think Rangers were in ignorance. All of a sudden, this 5-day clause comes out and all hell breaks loose round about Rangers. That's the only thing I'm worried about, nothing else.
Well, I would be concerned, Bridgeman, if the club didn't know about it. I really would. If one of their players is making decisions on his own, which is ultimately going to decide whether he's available for selection or no, mate. But I think we've done that one. But if anybody would like to phone in, 0141 356 1972, or alternatively, you can use Skype if you send a friend request to rangersradio.online. Fox will bring you in the call. We always appreciate callers. It's always nice to get another view on things and another opinion on things, but there we go. Talking about other opinions, there was a furore coming out of Pittodrie about their allocation for the semi-tickets, and it's now been revealed they sold 9,000.
Wah, wah, wah.
Tin Pot Club, mate. Simple as that. They create a furore. They want 50% of the tickets. They get what they're after creating a fuss about it, and they sell 9,000 tickets. And I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently what they've gone ahead and done is they've sold tickets in groups and in batches where it's going to be almost impossible for segregation to happen. So they don't sell their full tickets, apparently. That's, you know, you're looking in your, they're going to be thinking, the SPFL and that are thinking, well, how do we put Rangers supporters in there? Because the Rangers support will take the tickets and just eat them up. Obviously, we know that. They'll just eat them up, so they will, you know. But if I spent 2 days laughing with my mate about this, talk about a tin pot club with a tin pot attitude. Absolutely. They're nowhere near as big as they think they are, True. And never have been, actually.
True, look, can I read out the statement now? I've got a statement for Rangers on that.
You're the statement man tonight. Who do you think you are?
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Fire away, Brad.
It's a club statement on the semi-final situation, just like Rudy Bear was giving us an idea on. The Rangers have been informed by the SPFL that we will receive a further allocation of tickets for the Betfred Cup semi-final against Aberdeen on Sunday the 28th October. It's expected that these tickets will be received tomorrow, and once the number is confirmed, we will decide how to allocate the tickets, with previously unsuccessful season ticket holders on the continuous credit scheme receiving priority. End of statement. And that goes on, following on from what Rudy was saying there, and we spoke a wee bit about. There's a major discussion. We did a wee bit last night, as I say. You could talk all night about this. It's nothing short of disgraceful what they've been done. And they should be heavily censured. Aberdeen should be heavily censured. They wanted 50-50, yeah? Remember that. They're the team, they're the club that wanted 50-50. They can't even sell 9,000. Up to now, 9,000 tickets sold. Which, you know, I have to say, some away games we take that much, you know. That's just nonsense, isn't it? It's just utter nonsense. So, Rudy, just to let you know, they're taking a whole raft of tickets back from them, and told them they have to reseat all these people. Let's say it's in part of the West Stand, just for saying sake. Those tickets have been taken off them, and they'll be handed to Rangers. And then the people who have been given the seats will be reseated somewhere else, allegedly.
And so they should, Bridge. What a moronic thing for a club to do, you know. To literally only sell 9,000 and then think to themselves, I'll tell you what we'll do, to stop the Rangers fans from getting them, we'll put them in batches, you know, so it makes it hard for segregation, to keep the fans segregated. I mean, how pathetic is that as an attitude towards football? I mean, the semi-final in one of our National Cup competitions, tin pot, as I said, Bridge, tin pot. That's
absolutely disgraceful. What a shocking club. Scummy club. Scummy board. And everything about them scummy. Just shocking. Shocking.
Aye, Ulster.
Yeah, they're embarrassing. Scottish football has a real problem, I'm telling you, because I don't understand what the hell is wrong with the owners of Scottish football. This is like the highest, apart from Rangers vs the M game, right? This is probably the biggest game you could get in Scottish football, Rangers vs Aberdeen. It's going to be shown, broadcast everywhere. A lot of people's going to be really interested in it. People down south and all will be watching it because it's a big game. And they're trying to sell tickets, you know, and they're happy. They're like, it doesn't really matter if we don't fill the ground as long as they don't get them. We are putting our fans in this certain area. It's, you know, not only are they going to lose money themselves, all teams lose out in the money, it's sponsorship as well. You need to show the game in Scottish football as best as you can. And when you see thousands and thousands of empty seats, you'll be seeing people going, this is meant to be the second biggest showpiece that the Scottish football has to offer. And they can't even get, you know, the 10,000, say, or more empty seats. Sponsorships and all won't buy into that. You need, you know, and this is the problems with clubs like Aberdeen. They actually hate us more than they love themselves. And they have serious issues. They need to sort this out. They're actually going to harm themselves. The only person they're harming, yes, they'll annoy Rangers fans for a day or two because they can't get to the game, but financially, they're hurting themselves, and they need all the money that they can coming in through their doors, you know. And I just don't understand it. I don't know. Scottish football needs to really seriously look at itself. But then,
Fox.
Well, I think the SPFL had a wee common sense result today by getting Rangers 5,500 extra tickets out it, mate. I think this all comes about with sharing of the gates there, the 4 games. And I think that clubs like Aberdeen should be asked up front for the money if they're demanding half of the tickets, and force them into selling them. And if they can't sell them, they need to pay for the tickets that's not getting used. That would stop them being over ambitious in the amount of tickets they could actually sell.
Yeah.
That would stop them one way, mate. And I think the likes of clubs like Rangers and them across the city, mate, between all the fans, they're the people that keep Scottish football going, and they regularly turn up, especially our fans. Our fans turn up to every game. Doesn't have to be a big game, but we deserve the lion's share of the tickets, and we always have done, mate. And something needs to be. I mean, if you look back to the Rangers Hibs final, mate, they done the same, demanded half of the tickets, and I've still to meet MD that'll deny that they ended up selling the rest of the tickets to Celtic supporters that day because there was big swathes of them at that game.
Absolutely.
That's how they get rid of their allocation, mate.
It was them around the park.
Aye, without a doubt, mate. Well, I think that is true, by the way.
Absolutely. I know it's true. Absolutely. Shocking.
The things that they'll need to rearrange it. If Rangers can sell 25,000 right away, and Aberdeen, like they have done today, 9,000, and they want to act like a big club, mate. The Pink Army, they should be called, no the Red Army. They don't go anywhere.
That's a good one.
No, but they're supposed to be a well-followed team, and they claim to one of the biggest travelling support in Scotland.
But this doesn't only happen in cup finals, mate. I was at Motherwell last season, mate, where we set out our allocation at Motherwell, and the rest of the run, you could have scraped into what the main stand, mate, and they could have made money out of that game. Our fans would have been happy to take the tickets, but for some reason, the people that run other clubs would rather have empty seats and money in the bank. Absolutely shocking. Scottish football needs to sort itself out.
I hate felt to death Scottish football.
That's exactly what it is, Rudy. Exactly what it is, pal.
Then they moan that they've no money to compete in the transfer market. Well, when you're sitting with half of your ground empty, you deserve all you get, you know?
Aye, I agree.
I can't understand why they think, because their fans feel, I don't know, that surely that's a great opportunity for the fans to sell those tickets. I mean, nobody put any pressure on them. They were given 20,000 where potentially they would get some more if they could outsell. But they obviously they're not even sold half of that 20,000, and they're going to end up with less than 15,000. In fact, that's only proviso, isn't it? Because if they don't sell them, there's another 5,000 going to get one to be sold. That's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
It's absolutely pathetic, isn't it? The whole situation.
The thing for me is as well, guys, we have this every semi-final, every final, every year we have this. How do we sort it out now? Fox, you're suggesting. And I tell you what I would suggest. I would say, right, see the amount of tickets you ask for. That's what you pay for. And you keep them and you must sell them. But you'll be paying for that amount of tickets. You'll not be able to return them or anything else, or no redeemable. That would put an end to it. They would then have to say, oh, well, we'll probably only take such and such, you know. And I don't know if it's a ruse with them. They claim half the tickets, you know, to stop Rangers supporters getting them or anything else. But our club is covering Scottish football all over the place. And nobody shutting our stands down anymore, you'll notice, guys. So I don't know if there's a percentage of support you can work out. That club gets so many tickets, and this club's got lesser support, they get lesser tickets. I seen it years ago as St Mirren made the Scottish Cup final. They're coming out of woodwork. Guys I never knew it'd be interested in football were jumping in buses and away up there shouting about the Saints and all that. It was unbelievable. Now, I realise, and I will accept that sport, and the wee supporter gets his chance to go to these events as well, but Come on, guys, it's crazy. You know, you've got boys turning up week in, week out, paying their money, paying and scraping for their season ticket, but going there, following the Rangers everywhere, and they're getting put into a ballot because some guys decided it's want to go to this spectacle. It's just no fair.
You hit the nail for me there, True. Season tickets, it should be done, I said this the other night, it should be done by percentage of season tickets. You know, I mean, Rangers, you look at the season tickets they've sold, you look at the season tickets Aberdeen have sold, and you split whatever the allocation is after you take off all the ones, you know, for sponsorship and all that. Whatever's left, you split it up accordingly. That's how you do it. That doesn't matter then whether people come out the woodwork and decide they're going to be an Aberdeen fan for the day. It doesn't matter then because they won't get a ticket. The people that deserve to get the tickets will get the tickets because Rangers, because of the huge amount of season ticket holders they've got, will get the bigger allocation. That's the way it should work. I don't care about this. I've heard people on other stations talking about, but it's a chance for the wee man to go and take his son to the game for the day. Well, he should be doing that all through the season as well then, shouldn't he? Instead of showing up for a semi-final or coming out the woodwork for a semi-final and a final. You know,
Fair
so
comment.
that's how I do it through. Percentage of season tickets sold.
Anybody else want to come in?
I can't disagree with what Rudy was saying there. Percentages. I think the world's full of good mathematicians and good people that can put logic through that will give a level playing field to everybody, and still have some spare seats for people that want to take an extra family member to a cup final. A cup semi-final or a final. It would be really good to let it all happen. Unfortunately, we go back to what Rudy said 2 minutes ago. The football people in this country, the country's hating itself to death about the football, hating itself to death. And primarily about Rangers. They absolutely detest us with a vengeance unknown and unheard of in any walk of life. That's the truth. You know, when Charles Green said that all the years ago in 2012, when he came out and he actually accused them and says there's nothing but jealousy. The reason they're voting us out of the SPL is just jealousy and hatred. That's what he said. And it's true, isn't it? Here we are 6 years later, and it's still true. Sorry, pal, sorry.
But that's why you have to think about it. They thought we were going to die, okay? These clubs thought we would be no more. Now they're having to sit and watch us with Steven Gerrard at the helm, everything going well for us. And you get clubs like Aberdeen who have been sitting second the whole time, and we're just going to bypass them, in my opinion, very quickly. And they're just going to be looking up at it again, and Rangers and more Rangers, and just wish and hope they could get the heights of the Rangers, but they'll never will. That's what it is. It's a lot of jealousy and a lot of hatred. And what doesn't get me is teams like Aberdeen. It's like a millionaire buying a yacht and me going and saying, I'll have the same yacht. Because I'm a jealous person, say, you've got a hatred for that other person, you're trying to match them. The same as with these tickets. They were never going to sell 25,000 tickets. Never in their puff.
Well,
never.
The last game in the League Cup, I think, was against Hibs, mate. And between these two big giants, a club that are demanding 50% of their tickets, there was 11,000 at the game, mate. That's between I heard them talking today in the radio about their great travelling support. I mean, 11,000 for Hibs at home and the great travelling Aberdeen support. 11,000, mate. You know, they should get no allocation. Anyway, we've been joined by Cairo.
Cairo, how are
Hey,
you?
Cairo boy.
Hey, Cairo.
How we doing, guys? How we doing? I just thought I'd phone in just that point you were making there, Ulster, about the haters and Bridgeman about the haters and that type of thing. I've said to you on here before, it's wider than just Rangers. It's a whole thing. I mean, I know this is a programme about Rangers, but that relentless attacking on Rangers is just part of in my view, part of a wider sort of a campaign to discredit our community. And Rangers being at the pinnacle of that, have been a common sort of a feature. It's something that's highlighted there. It's something to take. It's something to take. If we take that off as a focal point, then it's just something else that that they're trying to destroy in Scotland is that sort of our upbringing, our sort of a history. And when I say that, I mean our community, and I mean the PUL community, to be honest with you. But I'm talking about the Rangers community as well, which is part of that, or has always been a part of it. So, whilst I agree 100% of what you're saying about the things that's happening, it's part of a wider, in my view, it's part of a wider contract that these guys have got to try and change things in Scotland on a wider base. Sticking to the Rangers side of it, I think the seeds of this have been sown in the late 90s when John Reid became part of the Celtic board. I think they've found a way. They've found out about the EBTs, and they've used everything that they could devise to try and destroy us. And that's from a Celtic standpoint, from a football standpoint. So, whilst I agree with everything you're saying there about the Ranger in itself, I think it's wider than that. But Rangers were a specific target. They were like, the sort of a lighthouse there. That if we put that big light out, then a lot of the other things all crumble around about it. Hopefully, I think we're through that, and I think people are starting to waking up to it. And I hope that in the wider sphere of that, people are starting to get their eyes opened as well. This thing that's happened with the fan zone, I think a lot of them a fair bit of that up and all. So I think there's a whole bit of that in there as well. And I think we as a support and we as a team need to recognise that and fight it. I think the likes of Aberdeen, Dundee United and Hibs colluded. I think to their cost, they're finding that they're suffering through it, and I hope they suffer. Dundee United especially, I hope, suffer for it. I think the Hibs were a big part of it as well. So there's a whole load of it in there. I think the song "No One Likes Us, We Don't Care," it might be exaggerated at times when we talk in general, but I think when we're talking about specific football teams in Scotland, I don't think it's exaggerated. I think they tried to destroy us, and I think the fact we're through that, hopefully we're through that. Especially with the support of the supporters, True Blue. The supporters have carried this team all the way through, and this club all the way through. And for me, that's the promising thing about it. So I think we're on to something better now, and the team's starting to play well again. We seem to have a structure behind us. So as an entity, I think the Rangers are back.
I think you're right there, Cairo, but I've been saying on here for years, back to 2014 and even beyond. I think that, the most visible icon of unionism in the country is us. But the Aberdeen situation as well. Now here's one to consider, guys, just for, God forbid, but supposing they make the final, how are they going to have the brass neck to turn around and demand 50% of the tickets again? Can they do that, Bridge?
Well, it's Aberdeen, and they've got probably the most sought-after manager, second to the tranny man in the whole of the UK. So I would imagine they would be able to do and say anything, get away with it. You couldn't mark their neck with a blowtorch. It's like what they've done now is the most laughable. They should be laughed out of town. If they request anything from the SPFL, they should be told where to go. No matter what cup they go into, if it's SPFL or SFA, they should be told where to go. And go back to what Rudy was saying, there should be a percentage there saying you will be first allocated, that's a percentage. And even if it's just to say, you've got 17,000 season ticket holders, there's 17,000 tickets, sell them. The ones you don't sell, we'll take them back off you. So you just let us know what the seats are, what you want, and there's the areas you want them in. Limit them to what they can do. And so far as selection process is concerned, you can sell them. What you can't sell, just let us know, and we'll move on. There's
another bit of the problem there, Bridge. You mentioned it earlier on. Look at Hibs. I mean, Hibs took their full allocation the last time. Fought for the tickets, and I'm convinced. I mean, how many Hibs supporters you didn't find that percentage of Hibs supporters in Glasgow that were in among all the thing that got lifted and all
Absolutely
that sort of
thing. So
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. I'm supporting what you're saying there. So how do you control that? I mean, that can only come down to average gates and that type of thing over the season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A percentage, like Rudy was saying, if you've got so many season ticket holders, and then they'll make a small calculation for guys wanting to bring their kids, their wife, or whatever. So if you get 16,000, then we'll give them a percentage of that and top. There you go. That's your full allocation. You've got no more than that. What you can't sell, gives it back. Done.
Yeah. I agree, because that Hibs debacle was all set up as well. I mean, it's unbelievable. That.
Shocking. And
Well,
there
there was a terrier lifted for that, and he says in court he was drunk, and he just seen the green and white and followed it. That was his defence he put up. I wonder if he's out yet,
It was all over social media in the semi-final with the Hibs tickets. There was Tims all over the place. You know, they were going on about how they were going to the game and all that. You know, and you've seen it yourself. You've seen it in the news. How many of them will get lifted, you know, for being on the park and causing mayhem and all that. You know, so that they weren't Hibs fans. Half of them.
Totally orchestrated, I think, and planned. I think, or brought to be honest with you. And if the SFA don't see that, or they're not willing to accept it, or if they are minded not to look at it that way, then fair enough. But don't expect us to swallow it and chew it and accept it. Yeah. We should be making representation about it, and as supporters, and the club should be doing the same, which I think they have done, because it can only get worse in the future. I mean, if Aberdeen had been Hibs again, shall we say, they could have done exactly the same thing again.
Can I just come in there a minute? The Hibs game at the cup final, I was walking down the road with Fox and Oxchair, and we were walking down Cathcart Road, and round the corner for Hampden, these four guys come in wearing green and white, yeah, and I stopped the Paulus right next to it, you know. I says, what are you letting these guys up here for? That can only cause trouble. You know, there's supposed to be segregation here. Why are you letting these people? He says, who are you talking about? I said, hey, guys getting into that shop there. Four of them wearing, it could have been Celtic colours for all I know, because they're the same colours. But the police just, I don't know whether they were regular police or not. I don't know what they thought. Maybe thought I was a lunatic, but I was telling the truth. Because 2 hours later, there was a riot.
Yeah. Well, just because you're a lunatic doesn't mean you don't tell the truth at times.
That's the truth. That's the truth, boy. That's the truth.
Why not just sell them in blocks?
Exactly.
Hampton's situated in a way where you could easily do that. And what you need to do is say to these clubs, right, here's the crack. You both have half. You both have half from the beginning. You sell them in blocks, and what you can't sell in blocks, a certain date is open for the other team to go, and straight away they get access to the rest. And either do that, or else just say to teams like Aberdeen, if you're going to take 25% or 50% of the tickets, then you're going to be liable for every single one of them. You know that before you take them, and that'll refrain them from taking as many again.
You start charging them all stuff for tickets in advance, right? You start taking the money off them in advance for the amount of tickets that they've asked for, and you'll soon find they'll change their mind. It'll not take them long to change their mind. Simple as that. You take the money off them in advance.
I think I'd forgot about in the CC, as this PM me, mate, is what was also in that 9,000 tickets they sold, mate. Season ticket holders were allowed to buy extra tickets. So it's not as if they've sold 9,000 individual tickets. Season ticket holders could get extra tickets, whereas our season ticket holders go with a single ticket if they were lucky. And only those in CCS, and I don't think there's even enough of them to cover our support either. So that extra 5,500 will be snapped up right away by people at our club, you know.
They were actually ringing. This is factual, Foxy. They were ringing their season ticket holders to have details of. You haven't inquired about tickets. Aberdeen were phoning them and begging them to take them, and they weren't taking them.
Got a caller, I think it's Billy coming in.
Oh, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm no bad, boys. I've been wanting to phone in the last couple of nights because I know it was getting a bit political the other night, but I think a lot of people realising this has been political for a long time. Not just what Aberdeen are doing.
Yep.
But the backing that they're getting for on high is emboldened the other half of the city to be able to do what they like with. And we've got to stand up and say, right, enough's enough, and say we realise what's going on, and pointing the fingers at people now.
It's so overt now that they can't deny it, and I mean,
exactly. Apparently Aberdeen have sold tickets in sections they're not supposed to, just so that they can't. That there's going to be no safe zone, which will leave a lot of seats empty. How ridiculous is that?
Only in Scotland, buddy. Only in Scotland.
Well,
I think you're right, guys. You know that Martin and George Square were Republican bands and Tommy Sheridan. They're not even trying to hide their allegiance there, you know, and I think that's why where the anti-Rangers feeling comes from anyway. That's a different story again, but how do we solve it, Cairo? You know, we're talking about here taking a percentage of their fans or their season ticket holders and all this. I don't agree a team should get a load of tickets, can sell them, and then, you know, have the ability to gain them back. I would demand all them. You take the tickets you want. See, every ticket you take, you sell it.
No, that's right. The only caution I've got with that, to be honest with you, True, is the Hibs game. I mean, the Hibs took the tickets and they must have sold them. I don't know how they sold them. They certainly weren't just selling to season ticket holder or just to Hibs fans, because it was, to me, there was an orchestrated sale to whether it was the Groin Brigade or whatever it was, but there was certainly something there. And how you stop that party, I don't know. But I think if you know the tickets that are going out, and you're selling them in batches, then I think you're right. You know, you say, right, if you're going to take X, Y, Z, ABC batch of tickets, give the money up front, and if you don't sell them, you don't sell them. If there are any trouble in the areas, then we know that, you know, it's your areas that's getting them. The thing is, I don't think anybody's got a will in that SFA to challenge any other team in the SPL other than Rangers, because they all seem to be in cahoots, and the only sort of a person outside the tent pissing in, if you like, are the Rangers. And I think that's the big problem that we have just now. And we've had that problem for the past, well, it's been more than 15 years for me. I think they're put on the thing yesterday. It started way back.
I thought for a while there would be some kind of allegiance forming with Ann Budge. And how that is or how that's lying at the minute, I don't know. But you're talking about trouble there, Cairo. If there was a bit of trouble, you know who it is. Clubs are supposed to know who they're selling the tickets to. No.
Well, the only people I see getting charged, and the only big write-ups you see in the papers, the people that are identified were Rangers supporters. There were one or two Hibs supporters. Some of them weren't Hibs, some of them for Gillespie. But the bulk of them, they should know who was on the field, and they should know where the tickets were. So that argument that you've just made falls down, because if they do, they're not enforcing it other than it's Rangers supporters.
Right, this is the point I was wanting to come to, mate. Now, at the time, if you remember, after that cup final, now there was Rangers players, just a reminder, I know it's all ground, but I think it's important ground. We had players spat on, assaulted and all the rest of it. With one guy who was out his nut on cocaine and drunk and all the rest of it and walked, he didn't even get a custodial sentence for it. Now, I mentioned it before, Fraser Wishart, not a word out of him. His members in Professional Football Players Union getting assaulted, not a word out of him. Now,
Petty was laughing about it.
Aye, post that, the club then brought out what I thought was a brilliant statement attacking everybody. Petrie got away with it. He's still in situ. He's still a vice president. He should never have been near the place. Coming out and saying it was exuberance and everything else. And then it seems to have died a death. Now, I'm wondering what's going on behind closed doors. Whether the SPFL are sitting Rangers Town or the SFA or whoever it was are sitting Rangers Town, not by the SFA, sitting Rangers Town saying, oh, aye, we take all this on board. But let's let it go for the sake of peace and harmony in the game. I don't know what's going on there, but it was a smashing statement that, if you remember, the club put out, and then nothing.
It was. I don't know if there's something there as well, and it's so soul destroying that you've got such a stonewall case. I mean, Rangers players been assaulted by opposing fans. The media reported it very blithely. You know, the context they used was, you know, over exuberance, and that phrase was used for everything. Rangers supporters went on the field to attack Hibs supporters. That's the sort of a tenure. It's old. It's everything that's happening in the papers and the media and everything just now as well. It's the old story about, you know, the guy saves the family pet, and then suddenly the guy's no for Coat Bridges for Lark Hall, so it's Lark Hall guy kills family pet kind of thing. You know, it's the context of it. They can state something factually, but the context of it puts over a totally different meaning. And the way that everything was read and the way that the SFA portrayed everything was Rangers supporters caused the trouble. And that's wrong. I mean, I think it was, I mean, it's so obvious, but to me, but if I say anything, then I'm a right-wing extremist or I'm a bigot and I'm looking through blue-tinted glasses. And
well,
I
that's
can't
just the way Cairo are shutting you up, mate. That's all that is. See, when they start the name calling like that, like they normally do, that's the way you're shutting you up. That's so's whataboutery. See, when they come out with aye, but that's whataboutery. They use that word to shut you up because they don't want you saying what you've got to say and pointing out the utter hypocrisy that goes on in this country.
No, I understand that, and I fight against it. I mean, I argue my case. I'm on here and I'm quite prepared to say what I say.
Had better be prepared for this happening again, because they obviously know it wasn't all Hibs fans that ran on that pitch. So who's to say it's not going to be the same culprits yet again running on if Aberdeen actually win it or get beat?
Well, that's a point. That's a valid point, Billy, you're talking about. You know, sure, if it happened previously.
Just to try and darken your name, because I'd be prepared for anything with him.
It's how we stop it, and the only way to stop it is to start fighting against it. So, I write to paper.
At the semi-final, stay in your seats, don't bother retaliating, and show them up for what they are.
No, I agree with that 100%. I'm talking about in the newspapers. I write to the BBC. I've spent half my time writing to these things now to point out the inaccuracies. But even then, when you get to IPSO and that type of thing, you've still got to go through hoops, and it demoralises you at times. But that's part of the thing, you know, the way they grind you down. And it's so overwhelming.
The media stick stories about Fernando Rickson once every 3 or 4 months to try and sit their way back in with Rangers supporters, when for maybe 6 weeks before, it's just every kind of bad story, a bad slant on any story that they can find with Rangers is put on the front page or the back page. And then all of a sudden they'll stick a wee story in and expect us all to go, oh, well, they're not biased, they've put that in. No, they're biased, they're all biased.
I think you're right there, Billy, but I think there's a sea change with the media and all now. I don't know MD that buys papers. But then again, I keep a particular type of company, shall we say. I know one or two, but that's about it. I certainly wouldn't. And by the way, they're like comics. You know, the only thing that's missing is the Bash Street kids, you know, from me.
Go ahead, Brad. On you go, Brad.
Cairo, just to say, just cast your mind back to maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago when we were discussing, about Kyle Lafferty. And I said then, and I'll say it again, I said it last night, Rangers had absolutely nothing to do with that. Other than the fact that Kyle Lafferty was a Rangers player, Rangers had nothing to do with it. But the Rangers were linked immediately and blamed. So the negative stuff was putting the Rangers name out there. That was entirely between Mr. Lafferty and the Irish Football Association. Nothing to do with Rangers. But the press pick it up and the press plump it in there, and it's got to be the Rangers name. Negative story, Rangers, bang, deed done.
Gordon Smith pointed the finger at us tonight on that Peter and Ruffy show. Bringing Rangers into it, saying it's part of Rangers' fault and all.
Of course, that's what I'm trying to say. Of course, where did he get it from?
And he played for us.
I know. The press and the media are just linking it in, and I don't understand why. Nobody seems to understand why. Why are Rangers getting linked with other than the fact that he is a Rangers player, so we can't deny that. But that incident has nothing to do with Rangers. Rangers didn't say, oh, we're keeping them off. We don't want them to play for you or anything like that, you know. Not that I know of anyway. So I just find that's a typical...
Bridgeman, I agree with you 100%, but if Kyle Lafferty plays for us, so I can see there's a strong link there to what had Rangers said to him. If he's phoned off his own back, then that's between Rangers and Kyle Lafferty and Irish FA and Kyle Lafferty. So that's fine. Well, you've got a 65 stone man that was playing a game and he's claimed 500,000 or whatever it is after, and he's a Rangers supporter. What's that got to do with Rangers? Because the guy was playing these games and he's 65 stone. And why profess as a Rangers supporter who's doing all these bad things? And everything you read, it's a Rangers supporter's done this. You never ever hear that a Celtic supporter's done this or a Celtic fan's done this. Even when they're wearing green and white, they say that it's a football fan. So it's all about context, and it's so obvious to me for the past 20-odd years. I've never ever bought a newspaper for years.
It's no Rangers, it's the Union Jack. It's the fact we fly a Union flag is why we're being attacked. It's the only way that government can stay in power and keep this country split is by keeping a division. And they will keep attacking us because it keeps a division. They've got all the SNP supporters can't stand Rangers. Apart from the few liars that come on social media and say we're Rangers fans, we support the SNP. No, that's their doing. It's to do with the Union flag. It's as simple as that, and that's why they feel emboldened in the other half of Glasgow to do what they want, isn't it?
Can I ask a question, guys? I'd like to get on the panel with this one. I remember as a boy, there were certainly teams I disliked. But see the level of hatred and ill will now between teams towards us. I think it's amplified tenfold. Billy, what do you think?
Well, I used to, as a boy, right, I went to Ora Gruns. The only two gruns I didn't like going to was Parkhead because of the chicken run that you had to do to get there, and Easter Road. Because when you went to Easter Road, you get spat on all the way round to get into your end. And I hated going there. Aberdeen was weird because when I went as a boy, they used to change end at half time. The fans used to swap round. So, I can't with Aberdeen then.
I can't mind you that, Billy, but I remember sitting and drinking with them. We sat and drank with them in pubs before now. Well, I'm talking about the early 70s. We drank with them in the pubs before we went to the game. We went to the game, went to our separate ends, then at pub at night, because you stood there in the days. There were no motorways, you stood there the night. And at night you were drinking with them and all.
But does the hatred get worse, Cairo?
Okay, it's a lot worse. I mean, with Aberdeen, certainly for the Durrant incident, maybe just slightly before that. Hearts, always loved going to the Hearts games because you could always mix with them. There were no bother there. And I think they're a wee bit kind of a gruel there now. But I remember sitting in the First Park stand and there were a guy sitting with a Motherwell scarf on. He had a King Billy tattoo in his arm and he's shouting getting into these orange bastards. I said, what are you on about? Mate, Aki said it's only a game. After the game, the two went away. I was a member of the Fir Park Club. In the Fir Park Club, we had a couple of beers. But I was just the guy shouting at the game. And we're sitting in the stand next to him. But I don't know if I've not been at a Motherwell game. I've not been at away games for a few years. But and I'm talking about Premier League teams. I've not been, and I don't know if it get any worse. But it was getting worse, and it was getting worse. And the Hibs fans that you used to blether at, you just don't talk to them now. So I think it's definitely got worse. I think it's more vitriolic as well.
What about you, Fox?
A bit like Billy there, mate. I went to every football ground, the late 60s and into the 70s, mate, and always enjoyed your time there, you know. As people were saying there, you used to drink in pubs round about the Tynecastle, and pubs served you no bother. People mingled together. It was a good atmosphere going to football then. But it's changed drastically now, mate. And I think it's all down to social media. It seems to be trendy to have a go to a club. And I think all the other forums, apart from your forums, are infiltrated by Republicans, mate. And it's them that stir it up and they lead the merry dance on other forums and turn the hatred against Rangers now. Yeah, it's shocking now, mate. I still have always said this. When was the last bit of trouble you seen at Ibrox, mate? I've been gone now for years and years, mate, and you don't get trouble at Ibrox. What you do get is you get trouble for visiting supporters, mate. That's what you get. Our fans are up. I've not even seen them to be escorted out of Ibrox for ages. You know, somebody that's went a bit over the top. It does happen, I take it, but our fans are great. We go to watch the football, mate, and that's what we're all about. Everybody else goes to hate us, mate. They're no interested in the football.
Bridgeman.
Yeah, I'll follow on for Foxy. From mid-60s to the late 60s, it was great going to the games, and many games, many a mile trodden to get there as well. I think Tynecastle was a smashing stadium to go to because we felt they were our cousins. You know, the Mad Squad I ran about with anyway. We felt it was a great atmosphere in the pubs beforehand, and so on and so forth. All the things that you just spoke about. The only place that there was ever any problems, if you could call them problems, was when you went to the Midden, the old Midden. I'm talking about the old stadiums now. So you went to the old Midden, you had to watch what you're doing, where you were going, and of course, when you come out and you're walking up many thousand strong, you never had a problem. Nobody would bother you. You get up to Parkhead Cross and you can disperse quite easily, or you go down the way and you can disperse quite easily. So you always kind of watch yourself. Coming out of Hampden, same thing. But you could always walk all the way into town, and sure as shooting, on maybe even the same side of the road as you, there would be a big crowd of them, you know, their supporters. So nobody bothered too much. But it's in the game and it's just after the game, you know, the before and after type thing, feelings are high, and that's when trouble can happen, or afterwards when the drinks takes over. But really and truly, today, and you know, I've noticed it since after the great accident, the disaster at Ibrox. Since after that, no long after that, they started all these really vicious songs and sayings about the people falling down the stairs and all this nonsense.
They were singing 66 at the benefit game.
I'm saying that, pal.
Game for it.
I know, pal. I was at it.
Right.
We know, that's what I'm saying.
I was at a disaster, I know.
I'm just saying.
I was still reeling for it, because that was the end I went out every week. Every week we went out that end. And don't ask me why, if I say to my mate, no, we're not going out that way. I think we're going to score. And this was about 3 minutes to go. One of our mates went, I'm on my way to get muscles. He shot off down the stairs. So I get home, I never knew nothing about it. Nothing. My ma says, did you know what happened to Ibrox? I said, what? She said, 66 killed. I said, what are you talking about? Then she says, tell us what happened. Flew into his house. His Mo answers the door, he's no in. I don't know what to say to him, but he sat there for about half an hour till the door went, and he walked. And I've never been so glad to see a boy in my life. But that I was still hurting for that, and the fear and losing so many brothers as far as I'm concerned. And then you go to Hampden and have to listen to them singing 66.
That's what I'm trying to say, Billy. I think the mere hatred, the severe hatred, started, and I thought that Rangers fans were starting to really take umbrage, and the hate was building up in the Rangers fans towards them for what they were saying. It was quite vile and quite vicious. And I'm not saying it wasn't vicious before, whenever they met up. But the truth of the matter is, Glasgow was a different city after the disaster. Although you heard people from the other side saying, "Oh, you get great affinity with the Rangers fans and all that." I didn't believe a word of that. I have to say that to you. As far as I was concerned, as time went on, it didn't diminish. It got worse and worse and worse up till right to today. And you listen to the way they shout, what they shout, and the way they shout it. I tell you now, I think it's just absolutely shocking. I don't know what society is going to do if a society will ever be able to curb this, but the hatred's building, and it's building big style, massively.
I think
even amongst family, I've got a mixed family, and we used to have loads of banter at one point. We could even watch a game together. But over the last 5 or 6 years, even that's got worse. We just don't speak about it for fear of upsetting somebody, or somebody saying the wrong thing or taking umbrage. So it's even affecting families.
I mean, being honest, Billy, when I used to go...
Sorry, Cairo, I need to cut in there. It's time for Fox to give us a cultural interlude. If you could all go on mute, gentlemen.
And march on, marching on through the years of history. It's held on high, how far the jersey they would do or die. Oh, fight, fight for right, play the game with a badge of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Oh, follow they will, marching on through the songs of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Have you seen the Glasgow Rangers? Have you seen the boys in blue? Well, they're admired by all who know them. If you knew them, so would you. For they have played in Monaco, they have played in the USA, but the greatest game in history is the game on New Year's Day. For it's the home of famous heroes, and their praises they have been sung. Willie Waddle, Tory Gaelic, Alan Morton and George Young. And when all my life has ended, and when death has made its mark, will you scatter all my ashes on the slopes of Ibrox Park? And what the angels I'll be singing up in heaven, they're up above. I'll be singing, follow, follow, to the Rangers that I love. And with my flute I will be playing in the valleys and the glens. I'll be happy and contented when the Rangers win again. See them march on, marching on through the years of history. It's held on high, how far the jersey they would do or die. Fight, fight for right, play the game with a badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's a Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Oh, follow they will, marching on through the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's a Glasgow Rangers story. Win, lose or draw, well, that's a Glasgow Rangers story.
Win, lose or draw, Oh, that's a Glasgow Rangers story. And so it is.
Aye, that was the Jimmy Shand Orange Defenders band there. Plus, I'm going to come at the younger boys just to finish this off there. And then,
Younger boys? Younger than who?
We've got to get
You.
Then we've got a good interview from Mark Allen. Ulster, I know it's different for you. You're across the water and everything else. Do you think the hatreds get worse? You know, I think in your case it'd be back to, 2012?
We know what it's like. I mean, especially over here, because we've lived through all this. That's what makes it more sad for me, to be honest, because you would think people across the water would have an eye over what happened here and try their best to stay away from it. I think, unfortunately, Rangers, if we're being honest with ourselves, Rangers is known to Protestantism and unionism. It always has been. The problem is the rise of nationalism in Scotland. The SNP are mainly their fault for what's going on in Scotland. And obviously, because Rangers linked to unionism, that's bearing the brunt of it and getting the hatred. Nationalism brings nothing to the table, only division and hatred. We've seen it over here with Sinn Féin, and we're seeing it now in Scotland. And it actually saddens me because it's a country I love a lot, and it's turned itself apart. And you can only thank the SNP for that. Unfortunately, it's not going to change now. And there's always going to be that division in Scotland. And it's something we just have to deal with. I don't think it's ever going to change. It's very sad to say that, but it's a country divided now, Scotland, a lot of it. It's only going to get worse. And I just hope it never gets to what had happened over here. I hope it never comes to that. But definitely, as Billy said there's families broken up. There's friends that will not speak to each other anymore to do with the whole independence situation. And I think then, obviously, in turn, that's coming through now to the hatred towards Rangers. And that's why you're seeing more and more hate coming from the other sections of society, because they see Rangers as the church, really, for unionism. That's just the way it is, and they hate us for it, unfortunately. And we just have, but it's not our doing. It's nationalism's doing. And to be honest,
I think Ed, for me, Ulster, that's exactly what I was going to say. The rise in nationalism. That's what's caused it. The rise in nationalism. The last 10, 15, 20 years, you've had the rise of nationalism in this country. They despise us because of what we stand for. And True hit the nail on the head last week when he says we're the bulwark of unionism in this country. They know it. We know it. And that's why the attack, the hate, the constant attacks has started in this club, started against our club, our support, and it will continue. It will continue as long as we have nationalism in this country. And that,
I think...
Thanks for that, Rudy. If I can just come to... We've been joined by another two callers, Jimmy from Knightswood and Big George. If we go to Jimmy first, then let George get a say, and then we'll move on, guys. Okay, Jimmy?
Hey, evening to you all. Listen, I don't know what you were talking about the first hour because I had a major breakdown here on my internet, so I'll just sit and listen to what you are gabbing about the next 10 minutes, guys, and maybe I can join in. But so there's no use me coming in and saying something. I know there's a lot of topics I've covered, but if you want to talk about nationalism and unionism, you know where I stand on that.
Okay, pal. George?
And for us here in Glasgow especially, but that's it.
Hi True, how you doing, boys? You alright?
Aye, good, Biggie, and yourself?
Aye, alright. See what you're saying. I mean, Cairo's made some great points tonight. Cairo's bang on everything he's saying, True, and I don't want to get into this too much, but it's in a roundabout way. It's all the same what we've been talking about, if you know what I mean. You can't play in a flute band, I play in a band. I'm proud of it. We are proud of everything that our culture gives. We always have been. I've been brought up to be that way. 4 times a year, True, we've got to go to a church and walk to the church playing hymns, walk through the church playing hymns. We normally stop at the cenotaph, lay a wreath, do what we're supposed to do. Just that's what we always do. So we're there on Saturday, in Fife, laying a wreath, doing what we had to do. It was a 60th anniversary of one of the things. But Kim, it's becoming more and more apparent to me, True, that these churches, our own churches, are actually getting to the point that they're all congregating together, that's Saint this and Saint that, and they're all getting together and they're talking, and they're pretty embarrassed to have us gone in there true as a flute band. The boy basically told us that on Saturday. He says, when he was saying his wee speech, he said, by the way, he said, I've got to apologise to you now. He said, you've come in here and you've conducted yourself. The place was absolutely heaving. 2 full lodges, 2 districts, and 2 bands were walking. Every single one of the members there sung with him. Done everything he was supposed to do. He said, I was a bit embarrassed with how I reacted. He said, I got asked to do this, and I said I wasn't want to do it. I wasn't want to get involved in it. Why he wouldn't want to get involved in it is because he's embarrassed who he's involved with now. So he's involved with this saint. We're trying to get everything all joined together and that, because we're surrendering to that as well. Now they're not even wanting us to get into their own churches. We're walking to churches, we're laying wreath, we're saying thanks for what we've had, for what we've got, and we want to keep our culture going. And even our ministers in our churches don't even want us in there anymore, too, because they're getting together with other ministers and other priests and all that, and they're pretty embarrassed. And that's basically what that boy said to us on Saturday. We asked 2 different priests to do the service on Saturday, sorry, and the first one knocked his back, and that one there admitted he had already knocked his back as well, and I thought again about it and wasn't what I did. I mean, that's absolutely shocking. We're not even allowed to walk to their own church now as a district and go to Cenotaph, lay a wreath, playing hymns, not playing orange songs, we're playing hymns for all the fallen and things like that, and we're not allowed to do that anymore. We've surrendered to everything, true. And it was what Cairo said earlier on there, we've let it go too long. We've let it go too long. They've got an aim. They've got a big, massive aim, and we're part of that aim. They want the Orange Order, they want the Protestants, they want this, and they're taking it all one by one, and we've actually allowed it to happen, true. And now we're starting to take a fight back. I think we're probably a bit too late in taking a fight back.
I disagree with you there, John. I think the next elections is quite a good turning point. I think
that might be right, Kyle. That might be right. You might be right.
I'm hoping people are starting to wake up. I'm hearing, when I got to when I lived in that type of thing, and I speak to some of my mates and that, there are some of them now that are beginning to, they're talking about going and demonstrating in the streets and that type of thing. So there's a seed change, and even people who traditionally were maybe they weren't in the orange or they weren't that sort of a way minded. They're turning and saying, you know, you guys have said it for years. We thought you were being a bit biased. But I'm beginning to think you're right. And I'll disagree with one thing that Billy said earlier on. He said it all helps the Tories. This is nothing to do with the Tories. This is to do with unionism, and it's to do with republicanism. And what the SNP have done, the Republican element of the SNP, is they have made the politics, are trying to make the politics very much the same as Ulster, where you have nationalists on one side and unionists on the other side. It used to be Labour and the Tories, and it was an ideology you were arguing. It was a political ideology. That's no longer the case. Personally, if I lived in Scotland now, what I would be doing was I'd be looking at who are the unionist candidates that's going to win this area, and that's who I'd vote for, whether it was Labour or Tory. It wouldn't bother me. The Tories were demonised in Scotland by the Republicans. They got an easy target, of course, and I'm not saying that was right or wrong. What I'm saying is they got an easy target with the poll tax and everything came out, and they swamped it. The media and everything swamped it the same way they've demonised the Masons before it, and the way they're demonising Rangers just now. And the Tories, when you hear people talking about the Tories in Scotland, some folk absolutely detest them. They'll never vote Tory, I don't care. Why? I don't know, because at the time when we're talking, it was ideologies. It's no ideologies now. They've almost made the politics in Scotland the same as the politics in Northern Ireland, where you've got Sinn Féin, SNP on the one side, and then you've got the other parties on the other side. And I'm hoping, George, that what you said earlier about it's too late, I'm hoping that people are waking up to that now, and people in the sort of the union side of it vote for a unionist candidate, whether it be Labour or whether it be Tory. But if you vote for the SNP, then I'm afraid it's wrong.
No, guys, can I jump in there?
Myself and answer that?
No problem, Billy.
I didn't blame the Tories as such. What I'm saying is, it suits the Tories for SNP to be in here. Because the only way they were ever going to lose Parliament and the majority is with the Labour vote in Scotland. And because Labour mucked up beside him with him on that independence thing, they're quite happy for the SNP to be in here. Because it keeps them in power. They're not getting out. Unless Labour get their voice back in Scotland, they'll never get the Tories out of Westminster. And that's what I'm saying, it suits them. So we're not going to get any help from the Tory party or from Westminster They're going to continue to let us get picked on here, because that will keep the divide going.
I'm
Anyway,
not
guys,
disagreeing. The practicality.
I need to stop
All right,
you
okay,
there.
buddy.
We're
Okay, man.
going down the road we never
Yeah.
intended being down here.
Okay, let's get back to the Rangers. That's
I
what
was
we were.
asking about the hatred between clubs and between Rangers, and of course we went in and investigated some of the causes. But I know Fox has got a good interview from Mark Allen, if we can all go in mute, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Mark, this is the first time we've caught up with you since the summer window closed. How pleased are you on reflection with all the work you did over the summer?
Well, I don't think it's just my work, first and foremost. I think it's a team effort. Yeah, I mean, it was a very busy summer, and I think we knew we were in for quite a transition at the outset. So as soon as the season finished, really, we were ready and into the planning phase and well ahead in terms of targets, etc., etc. And then obviously with the new manager coming in, it was sitting down with him, comparing those targets against his preferences, etc., etc. And then away we went in terms of the recruitment sort of drive, if you like. And so overall, yeah, you know, it's a lot of new players to come in, but we're very comfortable and very pleased, I think, at this stage with how they've all settled in.
When you and the manager sat down, what were the priorities, and do you feel you've now achieved them in terms of the recruitment over the summer?
Yeah, I think I may have addressed this previously in turn, looking at certain profiles of players in terms of their athleticism, their power, and also the sort of vital ingredient, you know, the ability to play at Ibrox. And you never really know until you put them out there, but you can do some sort of in-depth sort of checking in terms of them as players and people to be able to equip yourself with that. And when we sat down, we were on the same page in terms of what we saw, and it was easy in a way because we were coming in from the same angle and as one.
You've mentioned character before, and you kind of alluded to it again there. Do you think you've really achieved that, and perhaps fans have seen that on the pitch over the past few months?
Well, I'd like to think so. I mean, results speak for themselves, but you know, I think without the characters, you don't come through with 9 men against Ufa in a qualifying round in Europe, and that tells you a lot about the character of the players and their resolve and their desire and their drive and commitment. So I think from that perspective, it was quite heartening. I would have preferred to have finished with 11, but obviously it tells you a lot about the players and their characters, and I've got no doubt about the characters of the players we've got.
Are you content with the depth of the squad, considering there are now a lot more games with the Europa League?
Well, that was a really important part, and I think I said very early doors that this window could go right to the death, and it really did. Because in fact, we signed Gareth McCauley the day after the window closed, and it was really important for us, myself and the manager, when we sat down and planned the squad and the depth of the squad, that we had adequate cover in pretty much every position. And I think, you know, we feel comfortably now that we've got that. And in addition to that, you've got, you know, some good youth players available, willing and ready to be dropped in as and when.
Is this the type of squad you envisaged when you first started at Rangers, in terms of what you would have liked to have had?
Yes, I think, you know, strength in depth is a vital ingredient. I think I've said quite a number of times, you win nothing with a team, you win everything with a squad. And I think it's going to take a squad to win things, because games will come thick and fast, and for that we really welcome them. You know, we want to be in Europe, we want to be playing at the highest level, so we welcome those games. But it's going to take a squad to get through all of those, and what we hope will be a long and hopefully successful season.
This place was quite empty over the international break, which must be pleasing, because it's not been like that perhaps over the last few seasons, in terms of you're not just recruiting from Europe, you're recruiting from all over the world.
Yes, and I think it's always nice to see players being given international recognition on the home plane, obviously, with Ryan Allen and Ross in the younger ages. You got Kyle Lafferty away on internationals, Scott Arfield away on internationals, and great to see Alfredo Morelos getting his long-awaited Colombian sort of debut. So, you know, I think you know, players came from far and wide, and it was great to see them go off and perform for their countries. And you're always mindful of the fact that they're going to come back and hopefully come back injury-free.
You mentioned Ross McCrory there, who captained the Scotland under-21s over the break. He and Glenn Middleton are now such a key part of the first team squad. Are you pleased with how much work the academy's done in terms of you see where it's going now?
Absolutely, and I think, right at the outset, I think I made that hopefully quite clear in that, any squad that we put together has to include academy players. Otherwise, it sort of begs, the point of the academy. And it's great to see the academy producing players who we all feel, myself, the manager, and more importantly the manager, that feels that are capable of competing and being part of the first team squad. And you mentioned Glenn there and Ross, who've done exceptionally well and are very much part of that first team squad. Robbie McCrory is part of it now, as you know, as in the goalkeeping, and Stephen Kelly, etc., has been on the fringes. Zach Rudden been on the fringes in the summer, did ever so well in pre-season, and showed us that they have an appetite to want to be Rangers players.
How much integration is there on a daily basis between the academy and the first team? I think the thing fans don't see is how many players perhaps train with the first team, and perhaps the conversations you have with the academy as well.
Yeah, it's part of my remit, as you know. The academy falls under my remit. Ultimately, it's run very well by Craig Mulholland on a daily basis. That dialogue is critical and takes place on a daily basis with players coming up, making up training squads, being given experience of training with the first team for us to evaluate them in terms of how far away they are or how close are they. So I think it's a very important part of our setup, and will long continue, and they will, and academy players will form part of our squads moving forward.
I want to talk about the Europa League qualification. What was that like as a night for you in terms of an achievement since you've been here?
I think it ranks obviously very highly. It was a roller coaster night, to be perfectly honest. And I remember simple things. At 90 minutes, I walked down from where I was watching the game to the tunnel, and I was conscious of the fact that it took me a minute to walk from the top to the bottom, and I went, that's a minute gone of extra time. So I was very conscious that we were very close. But like all things, you breach something, you sometimes leave yourself a little vulnerable for a second one. So I was very relieved to get over the gain line. But I think it was a fantastic thing for Rangers, for the football club, for the fans, who are unbelievable, as we know. They're the most amazing fans I've ever seen anywhere. But I was delighted for the management team as well, because there's a lot of change that's taken place in the summer with new squads, settling them down, new players, new manager, new backroom staff, etc., etc. And I was absolutely delighted and thrilled for them.
How much of a boost does it give to the club's profile in terms of what you're doing on a daily basis, being in the group stages?
I think it shows improvement, hopefully, and where we should be. We set out at the very beginning to say, right, let's qualify, and that was the mantra all the way through from game to game, and I think we got better and better as the tournament went on. It's always difficult because you start at the very, very beginning of everything. It's probably one of your first competitive game really becomes a European game. But I thought we got better and better and stronger, and I thought the boys got what they deserved in the end, which was rightful qualification.
We've spoken a lot about football and recruitment here, but that's not just your job. How many improvements have you made over the summer that are perhaps then going to affect the football in turn?
When you look at the makeup of anything, you're obviously looking at your squad composition, your players, your managerial staff, etc., etc. But I think environment plays a huge part in terms of success as well. And all the environments that I've been fortunate to work in the past have always been of high level. And I think we spent the summer, if you like, upgrading in many respects a tired training centre to now have a canteen and dining area, which I would say is top class, training facilities that are top class, pitches that are top class. We're just about to take final sort of completion of a hybrid pitch, which allows us to train in all weathers, allows us to train when perhaps others can't, and gives us a robust surface on which to train as well, which is a combination of part artificial and part grass. And it just shows the level of progress I think that the club are making year on year, going better, stronger, fitter, faster. And I think that bodes well for hopefully where we're going to take the club.
Have you made changes at Ibrox as well?
We're in the process. We've just gone through in the process of going through some planning sort of changes inside of, not to the outside fabric, but the inside, just to make the match day experience a little bit different in terms of pre-match meals, etc., which will allow us, if you like, a more focused approach, if you like, to match day.
Well, thanks for that, folks. Interesting stuff. I know it's an old interview, guys, but I think it's pertinent about where we're at the minute. And it's a quiet international week. Jimmy, any thoughts on that interview?
Yeah, hopefully I stay connected here. Mark Allen has been a breath of fresh air. He's somebody who we've been needing for the last 6 years. Brought in some and obviously was instrumental in bringing Stevie Gerrard to the club too. But cracking interview, you know, he sometimes you listen, he speaks for the heart there. You know, he's taken us on board. You know, he says the greatest fans he's ever encountered. Absolutely fantastic. We all know that. But he's doing a great job. Very pleased with what he's doing. He's been absolutely sensational. And long may his job continue, mate. Long may it continue.
Well said, Jimmy. You're breaking up a bit there, mate. George? You there, George?
Aye, true. Just was doing a bridge man there. I just think everybody through the club that talks through, you could listen to them all the time now. I mean, boys in the past, in the last couple of years, have said, oh, you can see things getting done at Ibrox, and me and you and everyone else who went to the game, we couldn't see nothing getting done at Ibrox. It was run down. This guy's telling you things getting done inside Ibrox. You see it happening now. Outside the Ibrox is getting done. We're actually getting players coming through who you look at and you think to yourself, that boy's not going to go to Clyde in a couple of years' time. He's going to go places. And our end players true. I think it's all positive. I mean, I keep saying this true, and I hate saying it because I get on folks back when they say it, Ken, but I don't want to be over the top true. False dawns and all that. We've had too many false dawns in the last couple of years.
Agreed.
Fans, but it's all positive, and the retail things, it looks like it's starting to get sorted out. And the way that guy talks, and the way him and Stephen Gerrard went about their business, and the rest of the board, didn't get me wrong, went about the business. In January, they're getting that amount of players in, getting that amount of players out, and we've actually done no bad as a start of the season, Ken. I think we've done excellent for the amount of players we've got in and out, true. So it's all positive for me, true. It's it really is positive.
Good stuff, George. Rudy?
Smashing job. I think the guys. I think it's sort of leading up to the summer pre-season and all that stuff. You know, I kind of noticed on one or two of the forums, people were saying, "Well, what's Mark Allen actually doing?" I think he's putting in a huge amount of work behind the scenes. You know, scouting players. You know, sort of scouting team out, and then they were scouting players. They were looking at players. Stephen Gerrard comes in, sits down, has a chat. Right, what do we need? You know, and the amount of players that's gone out the door. It's phenomenal. I think it's up to about 22 players has gone out, something like that. We brought about 14, 15 players in. Absolutely huge amount of work. And that's only one transfer window, you know. And we brought some quality in as well, you know. I think Mark Allen's done an absolutely fantastic job. I'm looking forward to the next transfer window already, you know. I think he's doing a really, really good job through. I'm really chuffed with the way he's gone about his business. He's a smart man. He knows what he's talking about. He was director of the academy at Man City. You know, so he's came for a good job, you know, and an even bigger job in my opinion, you know, and I think he's doing it brilliantly. Between him and Stephen Gerrard, they certainly know what they're doing for me. I am well chuffed through.
Can I just nip in for 3 seconds?
Go ahead, Billy.
It's George, just what Rudy was saying there. I mean, I'll put my hands up. I was one of the people that says, what's this guy doing? Looks like, for me, it looked like he was in the background taking away. He's doing nothing, Rudy. That's as far as I could see. There was nothing really happening. And by the way, Rudy, I would have also, and I did say at the time, by the way, if we getting anything out of Murray Park, we're paying £1 million for to keep this place going, and we getting anything out of it. I was ready to build two stone. I honestly was, Rudy. I thought to myself,
Folks was the same at one time. Can I cut you there, guys? We've got 8 callers on. I'm trying to give everybody a fair shout. Billy?
Aye. Oh, isn't that a breath of fresh air having somebody you can actually listen to and agree with, talking on Rangers' behalf? A big thanks go to for the chairman for picking him and all. I think he's brilliant. His best acquisition is definitely Stevie Gerrard. I had my wee doubts about him and all after the delivery thing game. I'll go to admit, I thought, oh no, again, he put them two up front. But I listened to an interview with Peter Crouch, and he was on Liverpool fans television. And the way he talked about Gerrard, and not just on the pitch, off the pitch, on the training pitch, he said his first training session, Gerrard gave him a death stare for making the wrong pass. He says, I've never done it again. He says that his commitment at training, his commitment off the pitch and on the pitch is second to none, which filled me with more hope, thinking, aye, we've got the right man here. So by the signs of this man as well, and he's no one that's going to shout, I want all the credit for this. He just gets on and does his job, which is even better.
Aye, fair enough, pal. I think, George touched on it as well. He was talking about, false dawns and everything. But I think there's a bit of substance to this one, Cairo, eh?
Aye, I think so. I think George is right to be cautious, by the way. How many times have we been euphoric and heard good things? But this guy, when he speaks about it, he speaks with a wee bit of authority. He speaks with a wee bit sort of experience behind him. And the way he's talking, I think you pick up that he's been through it before. And the changes that are getting made, he's praising them because he knows he knows that's what you need. So that's the bit I take out of it. And I think the proof of the pudding is the number of young guys that are actually on the fringes. I mean, it's only been 18 months or that type of thing, but how often have we been since the wee general developed the place and get the place working? How many players have actually come through? And when you look at the last 2 or 3 seasons, and I know a lot of it's been forced on us because of their situation, but there's some broad players. Now that laddie that went to Chelsea came up through it as well. So I'm only hoping good. I'm hoping that in the future some of these guys break through to our first team, saving his money, but also that conveyor belt that Southampton and other teams seem to have, that we get that going as well, and we can actually start to sell some players on that. I'm not saying they wouldn't be good enough, but they're maybe surplus to requirements at Ibrox at any particular time, and that can only be good for the Rangers getting ex-Rangers players going out there, because as most of them say, when you leave Ibrox, you never quite go to anywhere that's as good as it. So that good feeling will go to other teams as well. So I'm quite chuffed with where we're going. The progress we've made the last 18 months on the sort of a boardroom level, where we went from squabbles to leaks and all the sort of stuff that was all going on, that all seems to have stopped as well. And this season, the professionalism that's been brought into the club by Steven Gerrard and his squad is just it takes you a huge leap. You're going from playing in a ploughed park, basically, that type of analogy, to playing in a sort of a Bowling Green surface, in respect to the professionalism of the players, the work rate of the players. Even if you take Morelos just as an example of how a player looked last season, petulant, he looked as though he's putting on weight, wasn't he there? This season he seems to have lost a stone. His work rate's fantastic. Okay, the petulance is still there, but that's a trait that you're going to have to. He's 20 odds, you need to knock that out of him. Hopefully Gerrard will get him that wee bit more professionalism to take that away. But that's just an example of a player that could have just fallen out of favour, get shipped out for easy money, undervalued, shipped him out and then bring in somebody else. But we'll get somebody there that knows something about it. And I think Mark Allen behind the scenes has been it looks to have been a revelation behind there.
Okay, thanks for that, Cairo. Yourself, Ulster? Now go to Bridge.
Yeah, I think, the good thing first and foremost is the club have allowed Mark Allen to actually do his job. I think it was board members that certain board members should canvass for Pedro. Bit of a disaster. Obviously, then we were with Murdy. Same sort of board members then were going for Derek McInnes at the time. That didn't turn out either. So they sat back, give the reins over to obviously Mark Allen to do his, sort of looking at who he sort of wanted. He's obviously then put Steven Gerrard's name to King. King's thought, if this can be done, this could be really, really good. If it works out, it could be masterstroke. So the board went and got Stevie G in. And from then on, I think we've started to really, really kick on. And fair play to the board. Because sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes if you hold the power, you want to keep doing things. Sometimes it's hard to hand it over to somebody else and sort of put your trust in them to go and find you the right man. But they've done that. Mark Allen seems to have found the right man. Everything seems to be working really well for us. The culture in the club's changing as well, which is good, as in we're starting to eat right. I think the club wasn't doing that for a long time in Scottish division. I know in England they've been doing this for a long, long time, but it looks like Mark Allen, coming from Manchester City, he sees how the players are eating their athletes in England now. And obviously Big Kyle's already said that as well. Eating definitely wasn't like that cup of tea, etc. Things they got there, and that'll help us. It'll help the young ones coming through to be more athletic in all aspects of the game, and it'll also help the players that are at the club now and maybe prolong their careers, etc. And hopefully towards the end of the season we'll start reaping the benefits of that. When you start to get into the hard, tough end of the season, when some teams might be tired, hopefully with our squad we'll actually be fit, and we'll start to turn teams over towards the end of the season because we'll still be fit and ready because of the way we're eating and training. So I think everything so far looks really, really promising. Hopefully this is we just keep moving forward.
Well said, mate. Bridgeman?
Well, you guys have all said some fantastic things about Mark Allen and the way he's went about his business, and the way Rangers are acting at the moment are a reflection of that man going about his business. And let's hope he continues going about his business in the same way, if not better ways, in his quest to make Rangers, shall we say, continue to be the greatest club in the world. I would hope that somewhere along the line the board are enjoying and getting the benefits, kudos-wise, from that, because you've got a tremendous... At the present moment, we're doing really well. The squad are everything that we thought it would be, to be perfectly honest with you. And as we go forward into the transfer windows, if there's enough money, we have to increase the quality, better quality, and so on and so forth, so that in 2 years, 3 years' time, we will have a really top-quality team. And without too many changes as we go forward, there's not going to be another 20 players out and 10 players in, or what. Whomever's out is going to be out. So hopefully by the next six months it clears up whatever's left, and it's all going to be top-quality players that are starting to come in or are already in. And I think I take my hat off to him. We never dreamt that. Personally, I never dreamt that we would be this good this season. But I think we've smashed everything, particularly in Europe. It's just unbelievable. I'm so happy. I really am. I'm really, really happy with the way the team's playing in Europe. It's just fabulous to stand at Ibrox on a European night. And that last game with Ibrox in the European night, it was just outstanding. Hairs in the back of the neck, standing up. It was just fabulous. Oh, well, I can't say any more. The guy's been brilliant for us, and I hope long may it continue. And him and his management squad, please keep it going.
Okay, Bridge. Fox?
Well, I think following on for the very good interview for Craig Mulholland last night, I think what Mark Allen is also saying now, mate, the whole club is moving in a different direction than it was this time last year. The board rightfully got slaughtered for the Pedro appointment, and it turns out that they've sat down and thought out a new strategy, and it's a strategy that every fan can see what is happening now at the club. For the youth going forward up into the first team, we have seen massive improvement. The board, I think, and not only just the board and the fans that put money in, mate, there's many people in the likes of the members' lounge donate large amounts of money into our club, buying hospitality and everything else. It's a total effort from the support right through to the board. We are moving forward at a rapid rate. It's been years in the doldrum for me. And I think we're nowhere near finished yet. I can see the fans being pleasantly surprised come maybe the January transfer time. I think we'll add new and better, stronger, better quality players again to the squad. And I do think we're going to have a real run at 55 this year, mate.
Well, I hope you're right there, Fox. You know, I'm interested in you know, obviously what you're saying about us moving ahead and us developing. But am I the only one else a bit iffy about Steven Gerrard coming in, being honest? And hey, I'm delighted to have been proved wrong. He's done very well up to now, Billy.
What's that?
I'm saying I doubted, you know, when Steven Gerrard came in.
Aye, I see where you're coming from there, right. Well, it was when he persevered, I thought, oh, he's not going to learn from mistakes. When I've seen that happen a couple of times, I thought, I hope but he sussed it, didn't he? it didn't happen again. And I don't think it'll go down that road again until we're maybe flying in the league and we can afford to try the two up front again. So he does learn. And as I said, listening to Peter Crouch, he dedicated a whole chapter of his book, Crouch, to Steven Gerrard. That's how much he thinks of the man. So, and that filled me with confidence listening to him, thinking, so that's the guy we've got behind. No wonder things are changing here. No wonder these players are pulling their socks up.
Aye. Bridge?
I have to say, I agree that, you know, I can't get the words out that I would like to say. Steven Gerrard, well, before we were asked a question at the tail end of last season, and I've said it all of last season, I want Rangers to go and get a big name. The biggest name that they could get. And my God, have they got a big name. He's putting everybody to shame around him. They all hate him. Every single one of the managers absolutely hate him. They're jealous of him. You name it. He has got it. And I tell you what, I just hope he stays. Just stay with us. Take us through it. Next 3 years, take us through us and get us there. 55, here we come.
Ulster?
I was a wee bit like you, True. At the very, very beginning, I was like, oh no. Because I had my mind set on going for somebody tried and tested. I didn't want to try another, trying to get the words, another project, because we've tried that before. And at the very beginning, I was a wee bit worrying. But then you have the mates going, this is Stevie Gerrard, you know what I mean? This is amazing. And I was trying not to get excited for it. I was like, we've been down this road, guys. You know, well, maybe not as big as Stevie G, but you know, and a size of Rangers, do you just put somebody in there and hope that it works? And I have to say, it's been an absolute masterstroke. I've totally changed. You know, I'm really, really happy that Stevie G came in. I think he could possibly be the perfect man at the perfect time for us. And this could be a really, really good year. Like you guys had before under Souness, and obviously that was then moved on by Walter Smith and continued. And I can understand where Bridge is coming from. He wants Stevie G to stay here forever. That probably won't happen. You know, if he's really, really successful, like we hope he will be, eventually maybe the heartstrings will be pulled by Liverpool and maybe move on. I don't know how long that will be, but hopefully a long, long time away. But as I say, we'll enjoy the ride while it's here. And hopefully, if we can do something like we done in the Souness era, is have somebody well schooled under Stevie G, and when he eventually does move on, with somebody then taking the lead straight after and keep the club prospering. But so far, I'm really delighted. Let's just enjoy it, because I think it's going to be a really good time for our club.
Okay, mate. Cairo? Oh, I think Cairo's reported missing. Rudy?
No, I'm here. I'm doing a bridge, man. Goodness sake, I'll admit it. No, I think what the guys are saying are right. I think Stevie G, when they brought him in, I said, oh God, it's a risk. Big name, but it's a risk, and that was always a fear. I mean, we brought in Warburton. I liked Warburton at the start. I thought he was a breath of fresh air. I mean, the things he was saying and all that sort of stuff was really good, you know, and the way he had them playing those first couple of months. But he lost his way a wee bit, and then least said about the next boy, the better. So I was a wee bit trepidation as well when they were bringing Stevie G, an untried guy, and I'm saying, well, okay, it was a big name, but he brought a good staff with him. I think that's the key to it as well. I mean, he's brought a guy that knows about football, Scottish football. Gary McAllister, he's got the Rangers man. So there is there, and I'm hoping with Stevie G, like everybody else, I think we'll all agree that Stevie G is going to go somewhere. If he does well with Rangers, hopefully we'll go him for 3, maybe 4 years, and then he'll go somewhere.
Okay,
but
pal.
if he can bring to Ibrox what Liverpool had in the 80s and the 90s, that even the manager or a trainer or a player goes out, but there's somebody there to fit in, then I think that'd be a great legacy for him. A fantastic legacy. And I think he's got the professional mindset and the forward thinking to be able to do that. And if he does that, then it would go with my blessing.
All right, Cairo, ready?
As it stands now, I'm absolutely delighted through it. Like yourself, a wee bit at the beginning, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't really sure if, I think Ulster used the word project. I wasn't really sure if he needed another project. The boys have proved me wrong. Klopp's at Liverpool. He's got a 6-year contract at Liverpool, Klopp, and according to Klopp, he's staying there for the 6 years. I hope he does, because I hope Stevie G stays with us for 6 years, because I'm absolutely convinced that if we don't win the title this season, we'll win it next season. And we're building towards it, and we're building towards something big with this guy. This guy's a winner. He won't accept failure. It's as simple as that. And at the beginning, as I say, true, I was a bit like, no, sure, this is right. I was excited by it, don't get me wrong. I was excited by the thought of it. But I think up to now, what he's done in Europe has just been outstanding. I don't think we could have hoped for that at the beginning of the season. So it's a big thumbs up for me, mate.
Aye, well said, Rudy. What about you, Fox? Were you the man when he come in?
Absolutely, mate. If you looked at his footballing career, it wasn't just that he was a great player, mate. He was heart and soul into his job as well. And I think what we have ended up with, I think probably with Dave King, he does go and to the odd game at Liverpool. He spoke to the people down there. And I agree with everybody else. His next job probably will be Liverpool, mate. But he's got to prove himself first here to get that job. And he stated that his ambition here is to get Rangers back to where they were, mate. And I think he's going to get us there. I don't think he's a mild-mannered man. I think he'd be strong in the dressing room. We maybe no see it because he's very good with the press and he handles himself there. But I don't think he's anybody's mug. And he knows what's at stake for him and his future. And I think he'll drive us to the top of Scottish football and push us hard in Europe, mate. I think we've been on bad runs and we've off... as we said, we've all been disappointed. We'll not be disappointed in this man. And I honestly think the people with the money at the back of Rangers will make sure that he doesn't fail, mate.
Aye, well, we all hope that, Fox. But I was kind of, very much like Cairo when Mark Warburton come in. Didn't fancy him either, by the way, but I'm the ultimate pessimist. I liked the football he was playing. I think the pinnacle the Mark Warburton tenure was a Scottish Cup semi-final, and then we blew the final, of course. Then we had Pedro, and I was offered giving him a chance. I says, well, there's no plucked him. Somebody must know something about him. Turns out nobody did. And then when, we're looking for another manager, Pedro was at the door. Graham Murray stuck in, and so no, this is not right. I was raging, absolutely raging. I thought there'd be merry an uproar, against the board when that happened. And then Steven Gerrard, and I'm saying, oh, here we go, another experiment. We're not in a position at this time. We've got it wrong so many times that it's tripped up. Who do we need in here? And the thing of choice was, I didn't have a direct choice, being quite honest. But I certainly wasn't impressed. But Steven Gerrard will move. But, Rangers managers have always moved on. That's the thing. And if a Liverpool job, soon as done it. Same club. Liverpool come in and he was away. That's the thing for me. But where I see it at the minute, I'm sorry for going on here, guys, but where I see it at the minute is Rangers are further ahead just now than I thought they would have been. But I also remember going back and saying that with Mark Warburton as well. So, Cairo's right. It's right to be cautious. We're going here. We're going to play Hamilton on Sunday. Can we start getting an away win?
Yeah,
Cairo. Go ahead, Rudy.
We need to sort a way for him out. I mean, that would just be that'd be the cherry on the cake for me if we could do that. So we seem to have swapped for home for him from last season for away for him for this season, But I also think we've been a wee bit unlucky, with the Pittodrie game. Morelos gets sent off and then the bloody red card get rescinded. I'm convinced 11 men on the park, we win that game up there. Motherwell, we saw that happen. I don't know what happened at Livingston, but we need to sort their way for them out. We need to go away on Sunday, get that win and get a good win, and hopefully that'll sort us out for the rest of the season, mate. If we can get the away for them as good as the home for them, we'd skate this. We really would. We'd skate this league if we could sort that out through. But it's got to be sorted out quickly now. We can't keep dropping that amount of points away from home.
Okay, Fox.
I think we'll absolutely murder Hamilton, mate. I think after the Livingston game, mate, I don't think we'll see a performance like that the rest of the season. I think the players have to take the blame for that on the day. Although I do think Livingston played above what they probably can. They were stuffy and they actually played well against us, but that wasn't good enough for me for a Rangers team. And I don't think we'll see another performance like that. I think we'll absolutely murder Hamilton, mate.
I hope you're right
Yeah,
again,
I think
Fox.
so as well. Yeah, I think so as well, Fox. I think we'll beat them. I think for me, going forward, and Stevie G has done really well in Europe, but I see that as a cherry in the cake. The league's still my dream. Getting this league, I know leagues come and go. We'll have a chance next year again and all that kind of thing. You can say the first 5 of their leagues were tainted, which they were. But I see Europe as the cherry in the cake. I see the real business end of it being 55. If we get 55 this season, I'd just be over the moon. Remember when you get into the knockouts, you're pulling in the Chelseas and the Juventus, all these other teams that are in there that have come down, So I'm glad we are where we are. I enjoy the nights. They're fantastic nights, don't get me wrong. But just imagine if we win the league this year. Absolutely. It just blow me away.
The further we go in Europe, Cairo, the more money we bring in, the more we can spend in January, But Ulster, we need to keep start getting some kind of away results.
Aye, definitely, mate. I think if we can sort our away form, I think the home form is sorted. I think we've got a team, and you can see it. You can see the confidence in the team. Last season, I think we had a team that actually were a wee bit feared to do anything wrong last season because it just wasn't working for them. They were losing so many games that the support was getting on their back, and I think it frightened them. I think we actually now it's full turn. We've actually got a team now that thrives in playing at Ibrox and are really confident of beating anybody. So that's it's a way form, as you say. If we can get that somehow sorted out and beating these teams, I think we can have a really, really, really good season and maybe go the whole way. But it's trying to do it. But it starts at Hamilton. And if we get the win, I want to say it's getting the win. I don't care how we do it first and foremost to get that monkey off our back. But I would prefer, obviously, to be a really, Foxy thinks it's going to be a really good commanding performance and a big, big win. I hope he's right. And that pushes us on. But if we can just scrape by, if that's the way it has to be, a 1 or 2-0 win, and we just go and get the 3 points, I'll be delighted. And then hopefully that is us on our way then to just going out and running the mill and beating these teams away from home, mate.
Billy?
I agree. I agree with everything you've said. And as far as the away, I'm not that paranoid about the away for him. Because I think Aberdeen and Motherwell, we'd have lost them games last year. We'd have lost them. I know Motherwell's was just, some of the tackling and some of the physical stuff, their boys were just getting used to it. And these boys are new at Scottish football. They're beginning to realise now that every team they play is their cup final. The team last season knew that, but this team are just finding that out. It's their cup final every time they play us, so they know they can't have an off day. And I think we'll beat Hamilton quite easy the weekend. That's how confident I am.
I hope you're right, pal. Hope you're right. Bridgeman.
Oh, what can you say? I love the optimism. As I say to Oxtear every time I speak to him about next games, this is the biggest game of our season coming up. We have to beat Hamilton. Make no mistake about it. We have to beat them. Our season hinges on this. This is a pivotal game, as is every game, truth be told. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I'm saying. We need to play well, get our form, as all the boys have said. We need to get our form back and actually go out there and really and truly mollocate them. Just mollocate them, Rangers. That's what I'm looking for.
Foxy, an away win essential?
word. So I
Red
hope
or
Ulster.
dead, Rich. Red or dead.
Red or dead, that's fine. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not so much the content of the banner. That's for the Aberdeen fans, and they can do what they want. It's the BBC publishing that on their official Twitter pages. And that must be the God knows how many hundredth time that they've done these kind of things. We need to put a stop to that. That corporation need to be stopped with this tirade they're coming out with continuously against Rangers. That's nothing short of shocking. And I'm sure that they must have broken 4 or 5 laws in communication alone on that one. So I'm hoping that someone, maybe got Club 1872 or even the board themselves and get their lawyers onto that, because that is shocking. I don't want ever to see that.
Every time you think BBC Sports Sounds hit rock bottom, they surprise you, Bridge, don't they? And they can go further down, can't they? Yeah.
Rudy, can I just say, I'm not being funny when I say this, I would take this the whole way. Me personally, I would take it the whole way if I could. I would never allow them to even discuss Rangers. Don't mention Rangers' names. Don't talk about Rangers. Don't broadcast about Rangers. Nothing. Because it's the Rangers, you know, I like to watch the highlights of my team, and they're the only channel that's doing it. I like to listen to radio when my team's on, and they're the only channel that do it. And I don't want that. I don't want them to be the only ones. I want Rangers to be able to look after themselves both at radio and TV level. I don't know when that will happen, but my God, we're stuck with this BBC. I hope Rangers cancel all contracts with them and get the, SPFL, and tell them to take our name out of the TV contract. We don't want anything to do with it. I'm ranting. Sorry, Rudy, I'm ranting.
No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you.
No, like you, Bridgeman. Anyway, guys, Ulster, Cairo, Rudy, Fox, thanks for the technicals, Fox, Billy, and George, thanks very much for joining in tonight. It's an international week, so there's not a lot of stories or news going about, so it's a bit of a struggle sometimes for anybody on the show. But thanks very much for your input tonight, guys, much appreciated. Bridgeman,
you say one wee thing?
Go ahead, Billy.
See the next person that bumps into Colin Steen, tell him that the wee boy that he booted at Ayr United in the Scottish Cup game says it's all right, I forgive him.
Well done, Billy. Well done.
Bridgeman.
Right, can I just say, great night tonight once again, guys. Thoroughly enjoyable conversations, and I'm glad I was able to get my rant out. I'll be able to sleep now. So can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here, on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, please, just please, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us big style. Good night.
So once again, guys, thank everybody in the panel, all the usual crackpots in the lobby, everybody listening, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or wherever they listen. Of course, Fox and Old School Blue for the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We're back on tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Good night, everybody, and Dream Blue.
From a guy so young to Glasgow City, they come seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know their ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. Still going strong. 'cause we're born. 54 titles, we're still going strong.